My 30th birthday party rolled around in November, and Steve was throwing me a huge birthday bash at this Cajun restaurant, and all of our family came, friends. My best friend came into town for my birthday, and it was a really, it was a really joyous event. For a while there, I didn't think I would see 30. So it was huge. But I felt it. I felt that something was wrong. I had gained a lot of weight between my last surgery in August and my birthday in November. And to be honest, I felt like I was about 7 months pregnant. I remember telling Steve before we went to the restaurant that night that I felt huge, and my stomach was just very, very puffy, and I felt bloated. So a couple days later, we went to my oncologist. I had a regularly scheduled appointment, and I had recently had a PET scan. She was seeing, where I was at, and if we were going to go back on chemo, and what the next couple months were going to look like for me. And when we went, she came in and she had her head down, and she said it doesn't look good. She didn't expect to find what she had found, which was basically a huge mass overtaking my abdomen, and it was also sitting on top of my uterus, which was then sort of crushing everything. It was crushing my bladder, my rectum. So needless to say, I was in a great deal of pain, but because my pain tolerance is so high, I just didn't think much of it, other than I was gaining too much weight. From there, she referred us to two specialists. One was an oncologist, a gynecological oncologist, and then the other is a gastrointestinal oncologist who deals with colon cancer patients and everything. So I visited them, and they didn't think that it would be even possible to operate. That's how badly the cancer had overtaken my reproductive organs and my abdomen. And we were just in a really, really bad place. It was like the penny had dropped. And I thought, this is it. It's over, I'm done. And luckily, they agreed to do the surgery. So going into the operation, I felt a million different emotions. I felt that I had a ton of support, which I did. I mean, I had the world's support, prayers and good vibes and everything. I was so lucky. And then another part of me felt that, I might not make it out, or I might not make it out and be the same person. Um, the reality of the situation was pretty grim. I might come out with a colostomy bag. I might not come out of surgery at all. They might open me up and say it's too bad, and put me back together again and not be able to do anything. So I was really unsure. But once we met with the gastrointestinal doctor, Dr. Galliano, who ended up just being such an angel, I really felt at peace. He didn't reassure me that it was going to be okay. He didn't know. He realized it was not all in his hands. It definitely was a leap of faith that he was taking in order to save a 30-year-old young woman, and he did just that. When they went in to operate, it was supposed to be a really long surgery. They had sort of suggested that it would probably be 6 hours or so. It turned out, I think, only to be about 4. I had 2 surgeons in there, Dr. Galliano and another surgeon, which was the OB surgeon. And then they each had some residents, and then there was nurses. There was more people in the operating room than I, had ever even imagined. But they definitely found a huge tumor, and it was on my uterus. And So they removed the tumor, ended up being a basketball-sized tumor. So very large, and the feelings of feeling pregnant and all of that, it made sense. I had a cancer baby inside of me, which is really strange to think about. But they went in and they also removed some of the cancer that had been detected in my lymph nodes, and then they did a full hysterectomy and removed my remaining ovary from my previous surgery. So it was a shock, I think, for everybody that was involved, the doctors, our family, myself. But it definitely could have turned out a lot worse. They were able to gut me, so to speak, and save my life through that removal. So once I got out of surgery, I was sort of a freak of nature. I think 20 minutes after getting out of the recovery and coming back up to the room, I got up and I walked. And right before I went to the hospital that day for the operation, I had taken a picture of my Zoila. I took a Polaroid of Zoila, and I had Steve immediately put that right next to my bed. And this time around, for some reason, having her in my life, it felt as though, she was my child I had to come home to. It was somebody that needed me. And that pushed me to really get out. And she is a dog, but she's also so much more to me. She's provided therapy, and that's all I could think of when I was in the hospital, was just, you have to get home. You have a 12-week puppy at home that you need to take care of. And of course I knew that she was in good hands with Steve, and I wanted to come home to him too, because he had been such an unwavering support system, and he always is. But Zoila definitely helped this time around for me to get in and get out. I knew what I needed to do, and I really recovered freakishly fast in the hospital. But they were all pretty astonished, the doctors. And you know what? Sometimes it just takes that. You just need that extra little thing in your life, which thank goodness she came around and when she did, and we got her when we did, because I think it all happened that way for a reason. And she really helped me mentally to just, sort of zone out when I was in the hospital and focus on walking and getting out of there as quickly as I possibly could. Of course, within reason. But I was out within 4 days, and it should have been probably a week or two. So it's Zoila. Here she is, my little baby. Mwah. Life after a hysterectomy, gosh, I certainly didn't think at 30 I would be having a full-blown hysterectomy. It wasn't part of the plan, but then again, neither was cancer. So life is crazy, and thank goodness I have such a solid support system between my family and Steve's family, our friends, and everybody that has just shown unwavering support. That certainly helps. But we're in a time in our lives right now where our friends are having children, and it certainly makes us think, because that is no longer an option for us anymore, at least to have biological children. Prior to the hysterectomy, right after my initial surgery in 2013, when I was 27, Steve and I went through in vitro fertilization, where we were doing embryos, which unfortunately none of them took. So life now, I think, is just, it's about us and enjoying ourselves and enjoying each other and enjoying our dogs, Keg and Zoila, and just trying to be as normal as we possibly can. I think that there are a lot of things on the horizon for us. Hopefully, some traveling, which we both love to do, and just seeing where this all takes us. We just are taking it a day at a time at this point. But we have goals and things that we would like to achieve. But I think as long as we have each other, I think that's really all that matters, is just anything in life that is thrown at us, I feel like we can handle now. Because we've handled so much, and I feel like we learn from it, and we both have come out being a little bit of a better version of ourselves, and a better version of ourselves as a marriage, and just remaining really positive and finding the silver lining in some of the real dark storms and clouds. It's so strange, I never pictured myself as a little girl being married and having this huge family. I sort of always envisioned, I always knew it was just, there was going to be something in my life that would sort of set me apart from the norm, if you will. So knowing that I'm not going to be able to have a child naturally and create something that is between Steve and I is emotional. It's hard, but he always says, if I'm not here, then what does it matter anyway? So I always wanted a little girl, and I wanted to name her Scarlett. But that day might come. I mean, we can still look to other options. And, there's so many children out there that need good homes. And I feel that we would be able to provide that as long as I'm in a healthy place. If I'm not healthy, then that's not fair to a child to do that. So there's definitely mixed emotions with not being able to carry or not being able to have biological children and share that with the person that you love. But at the same time, I think that we're blessed in so many other ways. And whether we adopt down the line or not, we don't know. I feel that we have the blessing of our families having children and our friends that have kids, and it's really great because we can watch them and give them back. So we still get to have our life, and not that you can't if you don't have children, but we can maybe do some things that aren't afforded to people who can. So it's just, we're dealing with the cards that we were dealt, and I think that we try to do it in the best mindset possible, knowing that we have each other, and at the end of the day, that's really what it boils down to. The next step, such a loaded question. At this point where we went to the Mayo Clinic, I have made the decision, even though it was a very difficult one to make, to leave the oncologist that I had been with for the last almost 3 years and transfer over to the Mayo Clinic with Dr. Ramanathan, who is supposedly a renowned just doctor, very high up there, one of the best in the country. And even my surgeon, Dr. Galliano, said to Steve, if Britt were my wife, she'd be going to Mayo. So I feel like it gave us that sort of push that we needed. So we visited with them, with Mayo, actually, just this last week. And the plan, I guess, going forward is that I will go back on chemo. As of the 18th of January, I will start chemo. They're going to set me up with a genetics counselor just to see, because of how young I was when colon cancer came into my life, they want to take all measures possible to make sure that, my siblings are going to be okay, and just sort of see what does this look like, and why did this happen so young, and does it have anything to do with genetics? And that's something I really haven't explored yet. That sort of fell low on the totem pole. So now we're going to explore that. They're also going to take my tumor, and they're going to sample tissues and see if I am eligible for any clinical trials, which is also something I haven't had access to prior to going over to Mayo. So I feel really confident and secure in the decision that we made to make that jump and that move. And Steve has a really great feeling about it. He said this week he just had butterflies in his stomach whenever he thought about it, because he really feels like this is going to be a great change for us and my health, and open up maybe a lot of different doors medically, to just live longer and healthier and have a quality of life, which is really what we're looking at. So chemo will start. I believe I'll be on it again bi-weekly for 3 days in a row. And as far as what the chemo is going to look like, they're taking out one of the drugs that caused the severe neuropathy last time around during my treatment, which is really debilitating, and that was one of the worst things I would say about chemo. So they're taking that out and replacing it with another drug, which may cause some hair loss. But if I lose my hair, it's just hair. The neuropathy was so terrible last time that, if it's either or, I would much rather lose my hair than not be able to feel my feet and my hands. And so it's just sort of the price I have to pay, but it will all be good, and I feel really, really good about it, and really I feel confident in our decision. I really feel 2016 is going to be a year of growth, from a creative and career perspective. For the last 3 years, I've worked on my blog, and I've had little side projects and things, but greater opportunities have sort of started coming my way. I'm still working on my book. I'm actually co-authoring it with an old friend of mine, and I think that the book will be a huge success. I really do. It doesn't have anything to do with it's not autobiographical or anything, but it's going to be good. And we'll see what else happens. There's a lot of different things that are out there, a lot of different moving parts. So I feel creatively, I feel very good about 2016, and I think that my experience with cancer has sort of propelled all of these creative thoughts, and it's just a matter of getting them in and actually working on them, and taking them from just a thought and an idea to and having an actual plan. So that is what is happening in 2016. They will go from ideas to actual things, and I hope that people can enjoy it and gain something from my hardships and the hardships that I've faced with cancer and just life in general. But there's some colorful things in the works, so stay tuned.